We arrived yesterday after a 300-mile trip from home here in the greater Yellowstone area. You can go see that video. There's a link down below in the description. And now today we are driving our Rivian R1S through the park, and we're actually not visiting anything in the park. We're just going up north, exiting the park at Gardner, charging at the RAN, the Rivian Adventure Network, dropping our daughter off for a concert, and then drive back home late at night. And then tomorrow we'll go back in the park and we'll charge at a national park provided charger in the park as well, and you'll get to see lots of cool scenery here in the national park. And I'm gonna give you a lot of tips about traveling with a Rivian, or in general with an electric car in a national park, because it is so super easy. If you are visiting Yellowstone National Park, one of the best places to actually have your home base is in West Yellowstone or nearby at West Yellowstone. I highly recommend that you check out the Cozy Cabin. There's a link down below. This is a VRBO. It's got 4 bedrooms. It's got a nicely equipped kitchen. It's got a nice fireplace outside between the trees. And most importantly, if you travel with an electric vehicle, the Cozy Cabin provides 2 EV chargers, one Tesla, the NACS, and one J1772. They both run at 40 amps and they both can be used at the same time. So if you have 2 EVs, that's not even a problem. And if you just have 2 J1772 cars, just bring your adapter from NACS to J1772. So the Cozy Cabin, there's a link down below in the description, is about 25-minute drive from the west entrance of Yellowstone National Park. And that is one of the perfect places to stay, because as you go into the west entrance, you can see us here traveling along the Madison River. That's already in the park. I think it's about 7 miles or so from the entrance of the park to the Madison Junction, and that's where you join basically the loop that goes through the park. And that loop is it's kind of like a figure 8, so you can halfway up where it's just close to actually this road here, you can cross over to the east side of the park. So basically you're halfway to everything coming in on the west entrance. So it's really great. You come in and then you either head south or you head north, or go north just a little bit and then you cross over to the east side, and there you can go north or south again. So, and it's only a 7-mile drive from the entrance to the Madison Junction. So not bad at all. So, and that's what we're doing. We're coming in here along the Madison, and then we'll head north to Gardner. Everywhere you drive in Yellowstone National Park, there is so much to see. This is nature pure. Rivers, lakes, animals everywhere. And animals not just in the park, actually. If you're staying at the Cozy Cabin, frequently there a moose shows up. We've seen moose with a baby before. And on this trip actually, and I'm showing you that clip at the very end, we also seen a bear just before we turned off onto the street that the Cozy Cabin is on. So really cool. You don't even have to be in the park to see the animals. It's just amazing, this whole area. Now, traveling with an electric car, people are kind of afraid because this Yellowstone National Park is huge. There's this vast network of roads everywhere you can go. It looks like unbelievably large, but the speed limit in the park is 45 miles an hour. That's the maximum speed. Depending on when you're there, you're kind of stuck in traffic at times and go 25 anyway most of the time. And well, with an electric vehicle, if you do not drive, if you're just sitting there or you're driving really slow, you use so little electricity from your battery. It's no problem to go through this park in a day, and you don't even use your whole range. You still have range left. And there are some chargers in the park, and there are chargers in the towns surrounding the park as well. So super easy. And many national parks are very similar with low speed limits, some chargers inside the park and chargers just outside the park. So don't be afraid to travel national parks with your electric car. And today we're driving our Rivian R1S. We are at the Rivian Adventure Network here in Gardner, Montana. This is a relatively new station here, which is very convenient if you're going to Yellowstone National Park. Now, if you look at this, we got 4 chargers here and the parking spots are awfully small. They squeeze that literally in here into this little tiny corner. I guess in here we have the actual chargers behind this brown box here. And these are just the dispensers, but yeah, they squeeze that literally in here at this gas station. But it is convenient here in Gardner, as we're right outside the park. We are just over the bridge here, and then over that way, that's where the entrance is to the park. And it worked flawless. We came here and plugged in, no problem. So we didn't have to charge right now. We're going at, it was just at 214 kilowatts, there we go. It told us we could drive to our destination and then on the way back charge here, but we need some food, so we decided to charge here right now. And I wonder what it shows here. Idle fee 50 cents, Rivian vehicles 52 cents. That is a bit more than Tesla charges, I believe, in West Yellowstone. They're like 48 cents. So, but that is not too bad. At least we get a little discount having a Rivian. So we'll let this go here. Oh, 216. So maybe it goes up a little bit. We didn't precondition for charging or anything, but the driving here with the warm temperatures keep the battery pretty decently warm anyway. So, but yeah, now we gotta go find some food. There's tons of food here in Gardner. On both sides of the river, so we'll see where we walk to while this here is charging. And down there is the river and nobody is on it rafting, so maybe we walk back over the bridge and go to the Cowboys Grill or the Iron Horse Bar and Grill or something. There's tons of places around. We are on our way back to the Rivian right over there. I can see there's another Rivian there now, an R1T. So yeah, we had to walk across the bridge to get food. I mean, how bad is that if you have to walk a few steps? I mean, this might be healthy. So, but yeah, we were right over here at the Cowboys Grill. So just a few steps. And now we're going back. We're almost at 100%, but we actually have to kind of rush because we have to meet some friends here in about 30 minutes. And we're a good 30 minutes away from where we have to meet them. So again, we have not been waiting on the car. Oh, the other Rivian drives away right now. They only had a quick charge there, but we had dinner, so it took a little longer. We're going at 24 kilowatts. We added 77 kilowatt hours. Total cost of over $40 to charge here. If we would have charged at home, we wouldn't probably have to charge at all here, and it would have been much cheaper. But hey, sometimes this is more convenient and makes it go faster. In the Gardner area by the north entrance of Yellowstone, there is Mammoth Hot Springs. And no, you can't go soak in Mammoth Hot Springs. There used to be an area just about a mile from the Mammoth Hot Springs where you actually could get in the creek and go soak. Unfortunately, they closed that during COVID and it was never reopened. But many years ago, about 2 decades ago, I soaked in there and a couple times after that. So that was pretty cool. But nowadays, if you want to soak, you gotta leave the park. And just as you drive north out of Gardner, there's a hot springs. If you drive a little further, you come up to Chico Hot Springs, and that's where my wife and I went while our daughter attended a concert. Also, Bozeman has some hot springs, so there's kind of a whole bunch of hot springs around. And to the left here, you can see Mammoth Hot Springs, this white mountain looking thing. And yeah, it's definitely a sight to see and walk around there. Something totally different, really cool. So yeah, and we went to Chico Hot Springs, enjoyed our time there, and then we did this drive back home in the middle of the night. So you can drive through national parks in the middle of the night. That is really not a problem. There's nobody at the gate checking to see if you have a pass or if you paid your entrance fee, but you can drive in here 24/7. So, and we drove back home in the middle of the night, and then had to park the car at the cozy cabin, plug it in, and get it ready for the next day. The next day we were actually going into the park to enjoy the park, not just driving through. Another day in paradise, and so this is our second day here in Greater Yellowstone, and we charged the Rivian overnight here at the cozy cabin to 100%, so we can go in the park and just kind of go around wherever we want to, and we don't have to worry about charging at all, with the speed limit being 45 miles an hour in the park, with lower speed limits in many places and traffic jams. An EV is hardly going to use any power in a national park, so they're great. So with 100% we should easily make it in and out and around and whatever, so that shouldn't be a problem. And well, I'll give you an update here and there. So well, let's get going. In Greater Yellowstone, you always have to be prepared for any kind of weather. You think you're there in the summertime in July, I mean, it could actually snow. Not that it sticks or anything, but it can get pretty cold pretty quick at times in certain areas, and you definitely can experience heavy rains during the summertime. So it can get a little chilly there at times, so bring all kinds of clothes, bring layers, and bring a raincoat. So as we drove through there, you can see the clouds are out, and there were areas where it actually was pouring down and other areas where it was completely dry. We just pulled in here at the Old Faithful, and this here is an area just down below a little bit. It's a little bit hidden, but if you use PlugShare, then you can find those chargers right here. And this Clipper Creek is actually new. This has been replaced because before both of them were these older Clipper Creeks here, and there's a whole bunch of them of these still throughout the park. So you can charge here. They're all J1772s. Yeah, you don't need a code or anything. You just plug in and they start charging, and obviously they do replace them because, like I said, this one is a newer Clipper Creek that wasn't there here a couple years ago. So yeah, so we're down here parked charging. I believe those are either employee or rental cabins. I'm not 100% positive, but yeah, it's like you're just coming up. There is Old Faithful. You come down here, go around, and right here, that is where the two chargers are. This spot here is marked handicap, but I guess if you charge your EV you should be fine. So but yeah, so that's where we're at. And yeah, Yellowstone National Park has multiple of these around in different places throughout the park, so use PlugShare to find them, and they're all free. So, and for us now, we're going up to Old Faithful, which is just up that way. This here was one of the cool sights in Yellowstone. This is a herd of elk crossing the road, and they had lots of babies, so we even got the camera out, even though we see lots of elk where we live too. So, but this is the fun stuff you see inside and outside the park. And here is the bear we seen just by the cozy cabin. You can see the road on the left up there. And so I slowed this video down so you can see him a little bit longer because they go pretty quick. That's usually a pretty quick sighting. If you're in the area, you want to carry bear spray anyway. If you're visiting Yellowstone, if you're off the beaten path, for sure. If you stay with all the crowds, it's not such a big deal. But yeah, so I slowed this down because this goes super quick and then they're gone. But it's fantastic to see. This is it for this video. So yeah, Yellowstone definitely well worth visiting. Actually, here we're cruising around Chico Hot Springs. They got some cabins and things there and the hotel and whatever, which this is outside the north entrance, probably about 45 minutes or so from the north entrance. So a bit far away as a location to visit Yellowstone. Like I said, best is if you can get in through the west entrance, and we highly recommend that you stay at the cozy cabin. There is a link down below in the description. It's a super neat cabin, sleeps up to 10 people, 4 bedrooms, fully equipped kitchen, has a gas fireplace inside, got a fire pit outside with a couple benches there to sit and do your s'mores. So yes, stay at the cozy cabin if you go visit Yellowstone. That's where you can also charge your electric vehicle. There are charging stations in West Yellowstone. There's a Tesla Supercharger in West Yellowstone. There is a Rivian Adventure Network charger in Gardner. That is the one that we seen here in the video. Also down below, check out some of the companies that we work with. There's a lot of links and there's discount codes so you can get the best price if you order any accessories. Like for our Rivian, we have running boards from EVBASE. We have door sills that light up at night from EVBASE as well. We do have a center console charger because the one from Rivian sucks. So we got one from Hansshow that actually works. So check out those links down below. Like I said, use the discount codes if you order something so you can get the best price. And don't leave your EV at home when you want to go to a national park. National parks are very EV friendly due to low speed limits, and many actually have chargers in the park. The towns surrounding the parks usually have chargers, so it is fantastic to enjoy the nice quiet ride in an EV as you're just cruising along and you put the window down. There's just not that huge noise of an internal combustion engine. With your electric vehicle, you don't scare the animals from far away. You actually get much closer because they don't really hear you coming. So it is fantastic to use an EV in a national park and anywhere else for that matter. So yeah, well, make sure to give us a thumbs up for this video. Make sure to give us a thumbs up for any of our videos that you watch. And if you haven't done so yet, make sure you subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on any of the future videos. In any event, thank you for watching. Goodbye.